Okay, so today something a bit different with a lot of resin printing I'm doing now. I tend to use acetone rather than IPA. I just think it dissolves the excess resin better and cleans the parts better. But I am doing a lot, and in the UK I think it was nearly £100 for 20 litres, I think. And you can go through it pretty fast. I thought, okay, maybe there's some way of distilling the acetone back to its native form after it's been contaminated with resin. Obviously there's loads of videos on YouTube about filtering it. It's too much faff, doesn't really work, takes forever. So I thought, well, surely you can just fractionally distill the acetone and that'll separate it from the resin. So yes, that's what we're attempting here. So what we've got is a Vivo still for alcohol, moonshine making, whatever you might want to do, make distilled water, etc. And as you can see, I've already tried it with some silicone heat pads and heat belts for brewing stuff, etc. Also, I use these heat belts to wrap round the vats on the resin printers in the winter, which is pretty cool. Warms the resin up. But yeah, not really providing enough heat. You see this thing has a temperature gauge on the top and it just wasn't getting hot enough. But assuming it was, because obviously one, this is acetone in here, so you don't want to be using a naked flame anywhere near it. And two, you might go, oh, it's acetone, it'll vaporise, it'll get pressure. Well, there is no pressure because the pressure relief is straight through here into the condenser and then trickles out into here. Now, I don't know if you can see, but I have messed around with this and got a little bit of acetone back. But that was by cheating and putting this thing onto the Modix big meter over there and putting it onto its heat bed for a bit, which not practical. So yeah, this needs some kind of electrical heater or induction element or hob or something like that. And basically what happens is it heats it up, acetone boils around, I think 56 to 60 degrees, vapour starts going up here, when it gets into this part, starts to condense, turns it back to liquid, and it runs around and dreams out here. So cool. Obviously you've got acetone vapour, but it's going back to a liquid, but you've still got an open acetone thing here, so you just got to be a bit careful. It doesn't build any pressure unless you really overheat the thing, and it can't escape fast enough, so you've got to be careful of that. But otherwise, as long as you know what you're doing and you're careful and don't leave it on its unattended, it should be fine. So what did I have? I thought, a slow cook pot. I thought, well, maybe I can use the heating element from that. So they're actually pretty easy to take apart. I'm not sure what brand this one is. Yeah, you got Pressure King. A couple of screws on the bottom. It takes off the bottom plate, which then exposes a couple more, 3 or 4 screws, and you can slide the whole of the heating element out. Circuit board as well. Let's open this up. The circuit board is bolted to that, so you need to unbolt the circuit board as well. There's a couple of other wires like an earth, and then you can get the whole unit out and junk the rest of that. And then you've got basically the heating element. That's the power for the switch power to the heating element. You've got 2 cutouts, actually 2 safety cutouts. One's a micro switch, probably bimetallic strip of some type, that then goes down to the circuit board and triggers it to turn off. And then there's actually what looks like a second failsafe, which seems possibly, not 100% sure, but possibly to be in the neutral side. So it's like a double failsafe on it, which is pretty good. And then you've got the microcontroller, and it has this wire coming off it. Now this wire connects to, I don't know what I've done with it, oh yeah, connects to, I think this is a Hall effect or a magnetic sensor, but basically this sensor sits inside. Let's just get this on. That sensor sits somewhere on here, in there, and this is the rig. And when you put the lid on and turn it round, a piece of metal slides into there, and the Hall effect sensor detects it and allows everything to work. If you do decide to power it on and not have all that sorted, then it won't do anything. It might do some browning, and that's about it. It won't do any other functions. So I've bridged those pins with some jumpers, so it thinks the lid's always closed. And then in terms of the wires, like I say, you've got two to the heating element, one to this fail-safe, another in the fail-safe straight in the negative circuit, and I'm guessing, but I'm not 100% sure, this might be a thermistor circuit, I'm not sure, but what that's connected to, oh, and obviously you've got your mains IEC input. So I'm going to spin this over. Just be careful with it, I don't want to crush the circuit board. There we go. So we've got this heated pot now. Obviously this comes out. Circuit board's here, connectors here. So I'll just make sure everything's nice and safe, and I'll put the power on and show you what it does. Okay, so IEC's got mains on it, circuit boards out of the way, everything that I've done, basically all of these wires, I've extended them and heat shrunk all those soldered connections so that this board can be well out of the way of anything metal and not shorting or anything in the future. So I'm going to print probably a casing for that, and make it all nice and neat, because this thing's eventually going to have to be probably ground right down, all of this piece ground off, angle grinder, so that the base of that unit can just sit on here and get heated up. Okay, so let's wires the power on. There we go. And wait for it to do its thing. Right, so if you haven't sorted this out, this magnetic thing, it'll think the lid's open and it'll only allow you to do the browning function, but because it's closed I can select whatever I want. I don't know, we'll do rice. I think that's whatever P10 is, can't remember, 10 minutes maybe. It'll flash a bit and you hear the relay click, and then this will start warming up. I'll have a smidge of water there, just put that on there. And that should start to evaporate in a minute. Let's see if it's getting warm. Yep, that's starting to get hot. There you go. Water's starting to boil off. That's plenty hot enough. So yes, the idea is chop this off, and hopefully can get it to conduct its heat into there, and that will massively accelerate the whole process. But we shall see. Okay, so this is super dangerous, Heath Robinson, janky, whatever you want to call it. But I thought we'd just try, see if, via convection and a bit of conduction from the pot onto here, whether it can start to increase the temperature on here or not. Precariously balanced like that, obviously not going to be like that permanently. I'll make something for that, and then we should see some acetone condensing and dropping into there. Let's see. Okay, it's powered up. Let's see what happens. I might just square that away a bit more. It's not that good. Okay, yep, so that's better there now. I'll go and get the IR fluke meter and see what's going on with temperatures. Well, it's always a bit awkward to measure the temperature of reflective materials, but we'll see. I mean, on the other hand, you could just watch this gauge. And I could feel I'll go and get the IR gun, see what's going on. Okay, so we've got the fluke IR thermometer. What's going on here? It's pretty warm, the pot, but you'll see when I move up to here, that's not really an accurate reflection. Excuse the pun, because the pot is reflective. That's quite warm. Have we got anything going on with the temperature inside? Not yet. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, but really it's the heat's only conducting up the sides of this thing and a tiny contact patch onto here, onto the drum. We'll give it a go, but really I think we need to take this and angle grind all of that off and have it so that the heating element is directly touching this